Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy this video, we invite those of you who haven't yet done so, to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the notification icon, to be notified when the next one is uploaded. This is the third in our series of videos looking at how the media who effed around and were largely responsible for Trump's successful 2024 presidential campaign, despite the obvious risks of promoting someone who labeled them fake news, and encouraged his supporters to attack them, are now in the finding out stage. We will show how the media recognized as the third check to the power of the presidency, after the judiciary and the legislature, have joined the other two to cave in to Donald Trump, making him the most powerful president in American history. The media who, like many American minority groups including Latinos, Palestinian Arabs, farmers, unionists, etc., who effed around with Trump pre-election, are now in the finding out stage post-election. In this video we will be looking at CBS, who were in the forefront of the media effing around and sliding for Trump pre-election, and whose owners have found out the cost pretty damn quickly after the election, as Paramount, the parent company, have now signaled their willingness to settle what they claimed was a baseless multi-billion-dollar lawsuit that candidate Trump filed, so that they can benefit from the multi-billion-dollar sale to the son of President Trump's major supporter, Larry Ellison. A sale that requires the approval of the supposedly independent Federal Communications Commission, FCC. In the lawsuit, the then-candidate Trump accused CBS of deceptively editing a 60 Minutes interview that they did with Kamala Harris during the run-up to the election, at a time she appeared to be the one with the momentum in what was expected to be a closely contested race. So, one can appreciate why Bill Owens, the executive producer of 60 Minutes, one of CBS's supposed crown jewels, might feel out of sorts with this development and subsequently resigned in April last month. In tribute, his colleagues produced what must rank as one of the most vainglorious videos ever made, lauding him for resigning on principle. But we respectfully submit that the just under 2-minute tribute video presented by the 67-year-old Scott Pelley was the most pompous act of self-snitching by a naked emperor ever witnessed. The video referenced two issues, namely, the intervention in January, when Sherry Redstone, the controlling shareholder of Paramount, who is an observant Jew, complained to CBS executives about a 60 Minutes segment on the Israel-Hamas war, and the lawsuit that candidate Trump launched 3 months earlier in October. Here's a clip for your attention.
In tonight's Last Minute, a note on Bill Owens, who until this past week was executive producer of 60 Minutes. He was our boss. His was a quest to open minds, not close them. If you've ever worked hard for a boss because you admired him, then you understand what we've enjoyed here. Bill resigned Tuesday. It was hard on him and hard on us, but he did it for us and you. Stories we pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories has been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires. No one here is happy about it, but in resigning, Bill proved one thing. He was the right person to lead 60 Minutes all along.
To put it into context, this video is like the Latinos who voted for Trump going onto social media to wail that they thought mass deportation would only affect the illegals or criminals. Or those business people who voted for Trump because they believed that he would be better for the economy, that he would use tariffs to improve, complaining about the losses they were suffering after he imposed tariffs. You know who helped to misinform, or better still, not fully debunk such widely untrue and unhinged notions about mass deportation and tariffs? Yes, That would be the US media, including CBS and Bill Owens led 60 Minutes. So, after helping an aspiring autocrat and transactional candidate, who was averse to fact-checking, win a Democratic election by substituting genuine debate for a stylized one which gave equal weight to fact and fiction, Bill is crying about Trump doing to him and his owners what they helped him do to other minority groups. Yeah. Good one, Bill. Some of his outraged peers have attempted to suggest that things started to fall apart in January, when the day after Redstone's complaint, the company appointed someone to oversee the news division's journalistic standards, in a thinly veiled move to review politically sensitive 60-minute segments before they aired. But Bill somehow soldiered on till April, when the company signaled its intention to settle the $10 billion Kamala Harris 60 Minutes interview, on the grounds that he had edited it deceptively. Faced with this all-out assault on independence and journalistic integrity, Bill, according to Scott, resigned for them and us. Well, here's the thing, Scott, if it was honorable of your much-admired 58-year-old boss to resign in defense of the independence that honest journalism required, what are you as a 67-year-old admirer and the rest of his team still doing there? Did CBS, in the intervening 5 days between his resignation and your tribute, address the issues of great concern that had prompted his resignation, or have you and the rest of his team shamelessly carried on regardless? So, either Bill's resignation was vainglorious, or the tribute was, because both are mutually exclusive. Secondly, why did it take 60 Minutes 6 days to produce the 60-second tribute video, given that Scott resigned on the 22nd of April and the video came out on the 28th? Could it be that it had to be cleared by them upstairs? But in the classic sign of cognitive dissonance, Scott was very quick to claim that none of their stories had been blocked. If that was the case, why was Bill compelled to resign? Because he felt he had lost the independence that honest journalism required. You can't put the man on a pedestal for resigning and then claim that his reasons for doing so were non-existent. But then, what about the fact that your owners are looking to settle what they termed a baseless $10 billion lawsuit filed by candidate Trump, so that President Trump's supposedly independent FCC would approve a merger that would make them even more billions? Guess Scott and his other colleagues can live with that transactional relationship between the president and their owners, but for Bill it was a step too far. But if, as Scott claims, Bill pushed them hard to ensure that they produced accurate and fair reporting, why is he okay with their owners settling a claim that effectively torpedoes that reputation? How can Paramount settle the lawsuit brought by Trump and still maintain their self-proclaimed reputation for hard-hitting but fair and accurate journalism? Is it a coincidence that since Bill's departure 60 Minutes have not produced any hard-hitting program critical of the Trump administration? Perhaps they are unaware of any differences between how the mass deportation that Homan outlined on 60 Minutes was being carried out, or how effective the tariffs that Trump's former trade chief said on 60 Minutes the U.S. needed to achieve a zero balance of trade with the likes of China, and also force them to stop the inflow of illegal fentanyl into the U.S. while ensuring that Arsenal Football Club will win a trophy next season. So, it is self-evident that the tribute video raises more questions than it answers, and Bill's resignation was either a big deal because the program's independence and integrity has been fatally undermined, or he had made much ado about nothing. But what is not in dispute is that Paramount and CBS are in the finding out stage after effing around and sliding for Trump during the presidential campaign. In our next video, we will be focusing on Bill and his record to see what, if any, effing around he did before he and his employers entered the find out stage.